Well, I messed up with both the audio and video. All right, but we're just gonna go live as it is. Maybe it'll kick me out. I don't think I can. Let's see. Don't have access to this feature. I wonder if I can edit this on the fly. Nope. Oh well, we're just gonna go live with what it is now. Sorry guys if the audio quality isn't as good as it normally is, or the video quality isn't as good as it normally is. But anyways, I hope everybody's doing well. We have a bunch of people in here already. Wow, 31 in here already. So I appreciate you guys being here and all the support. Like I said, guys, I kind of told you earlier in the week that I was going to be taking some time off this week, and mostly that's been from the live stream aspect of it. And so I have been, yeah, just kind of taking some time off. I still have some videos in the cut. I've recorded a few this week. But anyways, man, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the support. You guys are awesome, and I just want you to know that I sincerely appreciate all of you guys, especially you guys with the kind words and the ones that have been uh, really supporting me. No matter how often I post and watching the videos and liking, I really appreciate that. And so yeah, so this is probably it's going to be more PE focused because I know some of you guys are like, oh, if he's not talking about PPs, I'm checking out. And so it's been a while since we have been doing PE related stuff or any kind of live stream. And I see some of you guys talking about the new logo. So the reason why I was doing the new logo is because people are starting to recognize me from the mask, and especially like my OG followers know that I was started off as like Hinkle McCrinkleberry was my nickname, and it was based on the Key and Peele skit. And but as I've evolved, I've gone more and more away from people recognizing like the Key and Peele skit, and more so recognizing this mask and this kind of persona. And so it is something that has that don't be surprised if I go back and forth, but part of the impetus was on Caitlin V's live stream. um I'm so incredibly grateful for the opportunity that she gave me, the exposure that she gave me. It was an amazing, everything about it. But in a perfect world, she would have done just a tiny bit better job, like linking my name, or like at Doc Hink, like one word, so you could just like click on that and go to my channel. And so, in order in the comments for people to recognize, like, oh, that's the guy from the video, I switched to the mask logo. But don't fret, guys. I'll probably be going back to that too. So, anyways, and also, guys, before I get more in depth to it, so my course I recently updated with Bathmate. And so on the course, we talk about extenders, we talk about hanging, we talk in depth about pumping, we talk in depth about manual stretches, including like the actual techniques demonstrations, not with my real PP, but like with surrogate PPs, if you will. And so if you're interested, check that out. But now let's get right into the Q&A. So um let's see. Let's get right in. So, Josh says, do you still recommend the Hink method of measurement for tracking progress? 5 inches of mercury stabilized seems like a good way of standardizing. So, actually, that my very next video that I'm going to record is how I recommend measuring. Okay, and with kind of demonstrations, because guys, I can't tell you how often it comes up that guys hit me up for coaching. Okay, patreon.com/DocHink if you want personalized coaching from me. That'll probably be the last ad, besides obviously the stuff in the background. But and they say, I have my gains have stalled, and I'm like, okay, well, what are your measurements? And they're like, well, I don't really have them, or I took crappy measurements. And so it's like, well, how do you know your gains have stalled if you have crappy measurements? And so I think there's a lot of different techniques to answer your question, Josh, and thank you for the very generous super chat. I do think that that is one method to know that you are growing, okay? And so the in pump measurement, and I think it's nice. I think it's standardized. I think it takes erectile function out of the equation. For the most part, it's a bone pressed is measurement, and so fat pad doesn't fluctuate. So yes, I do think that that is a very standard way to measure. The biggest problem with it is that it's easy to fake gain progress with that. Because when you're in the pump, like, you could pump up and it could be like your 10th set of pumping at 10 inches of mercury for 10 minutes, but then you could put a picture in and be like, take a picture at that point, and it's not the same as if you, like, just have the standardized method of, like, 5 inches of mercury, 2-minute break, another 5 inches of mercury, wait for it to stabilize, and then, and then measure. And so it could be very easy to fake progress if you just, like, over pump in there. So anyways, but yes, I do think as long as you're consistent and you're measuring and you have internal standardization, that is one of the best ways to actually measure. Actually, I think that should be that should be a standard portion of it. If you guys haven't seen my video on, like, a new way to measure or something. Like, I see my guy in intimacy nutrition doc, but it's hilarious because he messaged me and he was like, "Hink, what do you think about, like, this way of standardization?" And I sent him the video that I made on it from, like, 2 years ago. So anyways, intimacy nutrition doc, it's good to see you in here. Caleb Anthony is in here. Let me say Caleb Anthony as many times as possible so he doesn't get mad that and he thinks I'm ignoring him. So, um, so yeah, that's my take on that. We got Doc 72 in the house. Doc 72 just went on an amazing once in a life well, I won't say once in a lifetime vacation, but like an incredible vacation that I was extremely jealous of. My guy Mac Mellons, Mac Mellons in the house. Let's see. So Robert says, Dr. JLCK, why is the same number of hours of PE divided in half done twice per day, then all at once with a deeper inroad? One study you cited said once per day was just as good as twice per day. So I think that maybe obviously that I was not clear when it comes to the once a day versus twice a day thing. Let me just take some notes, guy. 1 second. Let's see. Let's see. Best measure and then once a day versus have you guys ever heard the term BID? And so in the medical world when I cosplay, there's like BID is twice a day, TID is 3 times a day, QID is 4 times a day. And so my like instinct, because I cosplay so much, is to say like BID versus like OD once daily. So anyways, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I had one of my Patreon clients message me and he said, Hink, what if instead of doing like one 30-minute session, I just do two 15-minute sessions of manual stretches? I don't think that that is the same. And so I think that there's kind of a threshold. I think that like if you are going to do a split course approach, it needs to be at least like two 20-minute sessions when we're talking about extenders. Now, there's a lot of caveats to that, guys. And I don't have the time and I haven't really completed all of the research on it to really give you like a deep dive, in-depth answer. But so, all right, I'm gonna try not to get too sciencey for like those that aren't here for that shit. Okay. It's Swear Jar Sundays. So that's one, guys. Keep me honest, okay? Because I still have to make my like $100 donation from last week, plus interest. So we'll say 150 from last week, and we'll do 25 a cuss word tonight. And I think it was the test no, it was it a military? Maybe to veterans. I think I owe it to the veterans from last one. So, but we'll figure it out. It's going somewhere good. But the point is that when when you have a stretch, like what we call a mechanoreceptor, okay? So you have different receptors on different organs, different parts of your body that are responsible for reacting certain ways to certain things. And so you have these mechanoreceptors in different parts of your body that are linked to fibroblasts, okay? Fibroblasts make collagen. Collagen makes your tunica thicker. Tunica thicker makes it harder for you to gain. And so the more fibroblast activity that you have, in my opinion, the worse your outcomes are going to be when it comes to PE. Okay. But what they see is that when you actually put a stretch stimulus on these mechanoreceptors, after a while, the mechanoreceptors fatigue and they stop sending signals to the fibroblasts to make more collagen. Okay. And so what that means is that, and I'm making a video on it, but and we're going to break down like, is this fact or crap? How strongly do I believe this? But actually intervals where you do like, okay, guys, do your interval extending. Okay. 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Okay. when those mechanoreceptors, so if you just do like 10 straight minutes, after a while, your mechanoreceptors are going to fatigue, meaning they're going to stop sending signals to the fibroblast to make collagen. However, if you like stretch it out and then relax, it resets the mechanoreceptors. And so, like when you are doing intervals, so stretch, relax, it's literally like resetting that fibroblast to like, okay, collagen, collagen. In my opinion, okay. Once again, we're going to be doing some more like research. I'm going to be making my formal opinion. And so, one could argue, or logic or reason has it, that if you are doing that, so it and splitting it into multiple sessions, that's giving even more time for those mechanoreceptors to potentially reset. And some might argue that maybe that's worse. Okay. Now, I don't know that I believe that. And I still, the trial that I had quoted, well, there was a really the only trial using twice a day approach is the P long study. I actually am in talks with Dr. Brandeis. He already agreed to come back on the channel, and we're going to be doing another um, live stream together. I'm not tech savvy enough to do like a joint podcast or whatever, and so that's going to be coming up soon. But the point is that there's one way to look at it from an actual like physiologic, almost like cellular level when you're talking about mechanoreceptors, and the other way is just the stretch stimulus. And so if you think about like more is more, like using an all day stretcher might lead to better gains than just doing like manuals for 30 minutes. And so the reason why I like the twice a day approach, because like you're putting your D in an extended state twice a day. So sorry guys, I know this is a long-winded answer, but the point is that I don't know which one is better. Okay. I've seen people that have done both. I have clients that I have coached, patreon.com/docking, but that they have not grown. And so I've said, try a twice a day approach, and then they start growing. Okay. And so I don't know whether that's just switching up the stimulus. Usually when you do a twice a day approach, it's the benefit is it's easier to get more time in. Instead of like 1 2 hour session, you can do 2 1 hour sessions. And for most like active people with jobs where they're not working from home, it leads to more time for them to do that. Like in my life, it's much easier for me to do like a little bit in the morning and a little bit in the afternoon than one long session. But for other people, it's easier. So that's a long-winded answer to not give you an answer, but stay tuned is what I'll say. Guys, we actually have a phenomenal like to people in here ratio already. I would really appreciate it if you take a second to hit the like button, guys. It means a lot. And yeah, but if you decide not to, it's all good too. Wang Fire, Flameo, my hotman. J Rod says, thanks for donating your time and knowledge. For sure, bro. And so did I miss another super chat already? So let me get to these super chats before I miss it. You guys know I want to say this is going to be a short live. My goal is to be done in about 20 minutes. But we'll just have to see, because you guys know how I pontificate on here. So let's see. Let's see. So do I still recommend that as a good way to progress? So Jaded says, what's up, big man? Thank you, Jaded, for the extremely generous super chat, man. I really appreciate you. Says, keep up the grind. Thanks for the safe space. You getting positivity whenever I catch the live, my brethren. Man, thank you very much. Like, I don't know, guys. You know I'm a cornball, but like kind words just mean so much to me. And like, guys, there's Jesus, man. I actually caught up with one of my friends I hadn't caught up with since probably in 2 decades, but we spent like, he was my best friend from like 4th grade through the time when we left for college. And then we've still been kind of like close, but man, like he has a son with Down syndrome, which, you know, obviously it's not a death sentence, but it's challenging, man, to have a special needs kid. And then like his wife is an alcoholic, and like she was drunk driving like with his special needs kid in the car, and then she like tried to self delete, and so she had to be committed. And it's just like, man, like, and here I'm like stressed about some like ultimately trivial crap in the grand scheme of things. And so I mean, he's working through it, but I just try to be aware of, like, I know that my stresses are like very first world, not real world problems. But anyways, so thank you. But anyways, like stuff like this definitely helps, because stop still. I'm just a big gigantic pussy, but just not in a great place. Anyways, I think I saw my guy Red Maroon in here. Anyways, so man, I appreciate it. Lions Den, what's up, man? Boobs, Mac, what's up, man? He says, hope the break has been good on your mental. It has, man. It has in the sense that it's allowed me to I'm a very intense person, if you guys can't tell right now. And it's like, what is my subscriber count doing? Like, okay, like what are my views doing? Okay, this video didn't do so well. We got to analyze. We got to figure out why this video didn't do as well as the other. Okay, was it the title? Callie, run the SEO. Like, what are we doing? Like, I'm in, and it was stressing me out, man. And it was nice to just take a step back and just to say, all right, bro, like, this is supposed to be kind of a fun hobby that you're doing, and so it was nice to see that there was still like a lot of support. People were still watching the videos. But also just a reminder, like, guys, and once again, I'm not threatening to like, oh, am I gonna retire? But it was also just nice to know that like I don't have to do this. And I very much was like enjoying my life. Let me see if I can find a video that I can so let's see here. Let me see if I can find a video. So this is so me and one of my bros were out riding. So this is my helmet cam. And so we were out just riding dirt bikes. Yeah, so anyways, like, and that's what I was doing for like all day yesterday, just like out here actually touching grass, living life. And this PE thing is great. Like, and I love that I get to help guys, but at the end of the day, it's like, guys, there's real life. I'll just leave it at that. So, anyways, man. So thank you, Mac, for asking about me, checking on my mental health, man. But no, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. Um, so Hitman says PE skincare routine. I know I got some super chats too. I feel like no one talks about it enough. We're working on it. So actually, me and my guy Red Maroon are working on it. I'll leave it at that. We're working on it. We're working on it, man. Thank you guys for the love with the new so Ben from Hanger just said $5 says Hink says this will be a quick live. I'm not sure when he typed that, but it was certainly before when I just said, "Oh, this is going to be a quick live, guys." Derp derp. I'm Hink. Look at me. I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me. I think I missed like a crap ton of super chats. So appreciate you, Jaded. Appreciate you, Mac. Appreciate you guys being here. Ben says just showing some love for my boy. I appreciate it, Ben. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, man. So Ben with Mail Hanger, guys, available on peakmailphysique.com, of course. That was actually the first PE device that I ever had was a mail hanger. Okay. And yes, he sent that. He sent it to me because I was like, "Hey Ben, I'm interested in a mail hanger because like I don't like the idea of vacuum caps. Like compression is the only thing that I would ever use." And it's this is not meant to be an infomercial, guys. The point is that like the compression hanger, like you can't hang from it, but you can also attach it to an extender, and so it's just like very like versatile in my opinion. But anyways, um, so that's probably Ben hitting the 100 button right now as I glaze his product. So, but anyways, man, thank you for taking the time, Ben. So Umar, thank you for the super chat. He says 10-minute manuals plus 3 sets of 5 minutes in the pump. Expected length gains in what time period, bro? In a year, I would say 10 minutes of manuals and 15 minutes of pumping. In a year, maybe a half an inch. Yeah, I mean that's not that much time. So that's a total of let's see, 10 plus 15, carry the 3. That's like somewhere around 25 minutes of time. And that's probably just not enough, bro. It's just not enough. And so I would do more. I mean, if you're really going for length, then I would spend 25 minutes doing manual stretches, rather than like using the pump too, personally. So let me make sure that So Clarence, thank you for the super chat, my guy. He says, "What effect, if negative or positive, would HGH or IGF-1, IR3, I don't know what IR3 is, have on PE in the sense of growth and perhaps inhibiting growth due to increased collagen and the associated effects with thicker tissues?" So, thank you, number one, for the extremely generous. I think that's is that euros or pounds? Either way, thank you, bro. That's extremely nice. I have made a video on IGF-1 growth hormone, so check it out. The bottom line is like, so if you are going through puberty, okay, and you take growth hormones, what that has, so you have these androgen receptors on your penis that are responsible, like react to basically testosterone, specifically DHT, and make your dick bigger. Okay, that's what makes your dick grow is exposure to androgens. Okay, but specifically those androgen receptors on the penis. If you are still developing and you take growth hormone, what it does is it prevents those androgen receptors from shutting down, and you can actually grow a bigger dick because of the growth hormone allowing for more of the androgen receptors to stay alive and stay active, not alive, but stay active for longer, so your dick will grow. Okay, they've done this. Now this has been on like people with actual like micro penises and with like endocrine or like hormonal disruptions. Okay, uh, this is a good question. Sorry, I'm just taking notes so I can put this in my title. Let's see. Growth hormone. So, like, what do I think for an average person that's gone through puberty that growth hormone is going to do? Absolutely jack shit. Could it in fact be negative? Yes, you're absolutely right because of the increased collagen. And so it could actually cause your tunica to thicken at a higher rate because of its effect on fibroblasts. And so, yes, I absolutely think it could be a bad thing. Now, like the interesting thing, this is purely a hypothetical, is that well, it's not a hypothetical. This is guaranteed to work. But like, if you're developing, so if you had a time machine, or if you could transfer your consciousness into a body that was still going through puberty, and you did something like what is this? It's not a SARM. It's a growth hormone releasing. It's like GHRP, but it's MK 667, MK267. You guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyways, so that can actually increase your growth hormone. So if you were to have a teenager going through that and they took that, but then also, and then more importantly, they took what we call a aromatase inhibitor. So aromatase estrogen basically causes your growth plates, your epiphyseal plates in your bones to stop to stop, okay, to stop growing. And so it causes that, but it also, when you block your estrogen by taking an aromatase inhibitor, you have more testosterone available, and so you have more testosterone going to those androgen receptors that are now more viable. And so if you were to take like MK, what is it, MK667, probably somebody saying it in the chat, MK677, is that it, MK677? That doesn't sound right. All right, maybe it is. But yeah, so anyways, if you take that and take an aromatase inhibitor, like you would grow significantly more, like probably on the order of like an inch more, like legitimately. I mean, I have no proof for that outside of actually the trials that did growth hormone and androgens together combined. Dramatic. I made a video about it, guys. Just watch my like hink. Just Google hink biohacking the penis. Okay. Oh shit, swear jar. Oh Steven Johnson, keep an eye out for me, bro. Um, so hard R. Is that my guy hard R or is that a different hard R? But he says, okay, he says MK677. Okay, yeah, okay. MK677. So, anyways, man, but it doesn't do any good for most people that have gone through puberty. Now, the one caveat to that is that when you grow up and you're a fat kid, okay, I'm not fat shaming, I'm just saying if you're obese, you have higher levels of estrogen and you will have a smaller penis. Like guaranteed. There's papers published about like obesity reducing the size of penis because of its effect on puberty. And so, like theoretically, is there potentially some gains in the tank? I still think the androgen receptors are like basically burnt out because you've gone through puberty. And so I don't think it would work. But I don't know. I'd be interested to run a study on like, hint trial 3.0 and like have a bunch of fat kids that hopefully are no longer fat and like half of them do regular PE and half of them combine it with growth hormone and an androgen and like just to see what happens and like are they going to grow faster? I don't know. I think that'd be interesting, but I'm a nerd. And yeah. So, anyways, but I've kind of talked about that before, and I'm going slowly through these chat. Hey guys, I'm serious this time. It's gonna be a short one. So yeah. So that's a great question, Clarence. I really love that question because I like talking about some of these like more scientific principles and actually knowing what the fuck. Sorry. And actually knowing, does that count? I don't think I got the K out. What I'm talking about and not just like pontificating like some people do. But yeah. So Caleb says, I really enjoyed your videos on Sterling Cooper and Chris Stokes. Man, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah. All right. Was that all the super chats? That would be all right. I got that one. I got that one. Showing love. I think that is all the super chats. So now I'm gonna scroll to the bottom of the chat, guys, and just try to knock out as many of these as I can for the next like 7 minutes. Okay, 8:45 my time. New York City is what I want to be done. So Caleb says, Hink, I do manuals, extending and pumping in my routine. Would it be bad to do manuals twice a day? No. I think more manuals, or I think more is more when it comes to length work. Okay. I think more is more. So yeah. And so like if I could do it, I would probably do manuals like 3 times a day if I could. Carl, any discounts anytime soon? Not anytime soon, man. Sorry. Not anytime soon. I'll just leave it at that. Ethan says, Yo, Hink, I have a question. Is doing manuals in the morning when waking up better or when sleeping at night? What time do you recommend? I think it depends on what works better for you and if you have evening activities. If I'm lucky with my wife, for those that are old enough to get the Borat jokes, yeah, I know I'm hilarious. Um, like if I know I'm going to be doing that, sometimes that affects my EQ, my erection quality, and so I don't want to do manuals right before it's game time, if you know what I mean. Hashtag team tummy pancakes. Um, but yeah, and so I typically do them first thing in the morning, but it depends because in theory, like if you do them before bed and you stretch out and then you go to sleep when you should, I mean, you should be getting like good nocturnal erections, which are good for penile health, which can help you recover. Um, there's also things like different growth factors that are released at night, and so that could, in theory, hypothetically, be improved. And I mean, and like I've actually looked at the importance in sleep to the point where I've actually started developing like my own kind of like sleep aid type thing to like maximize deep sleep to help with PE recovery. So but I don't think it matters. I agree with Ben from Mailhanger. Like he says the time of day, whatever method doesn't matter. I agree ultimately with that. There's a lot of like theoretical stuff. So, Jesus Crespo says, "Nice to see you are doing something different for your mental health. Last time you were seem a little over the limit." Yeah, bro, I was. I mean, typically, guys, when I crash out, it means that like I'm not a guy that like I'm not an angry guy actually. And so there are certain things that trigger me, but I'm really not an angry guy if you knew me. And so like when I'm Hank, listen to me, oh, derp, derp. Like when I get worked up like that, it usually means I'm stressed out. Yeah, I'm stressed out. So, glad you are fitting, and bringing good vibes to us all. Man, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Let's see. Let's see. Steven Johnson syndrome. What's up, man? He says, "What kind of uh, where did that go? My thing just all right. What kind of routine would you recommend for a person with EQ issues, time wise?" Pumping, bro. Like I just made a video. It was like 3 weeks ago. I made a video like how to pump for max. What the hell? How to pump for maximum erection quality. And so watch that video. Like I mean, and then of course I also have a video that's like avoid these things for maximum erection quality, derpa der. And so that is also a lot of like avoid smoking, make sure you're hydrated. And yeah, so anyways, watch both of those videos, my friend. And so Raheem says, "Is 3.5 inches in length gains impossible?" Yeah, probably. If you're average, like let's just say you're 5 inches, you're not getting to 8.5 inches. I don't think so. I've never seen good documented evidence. I'm not gonna say, hey man, shoot for the stars. Even if you miss, you land on shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you land in the stars or whatever that saying is. So um yeah. So woo. So, Homar or Jomar, I'm not sure, but it says Hink. Woof, gosh. Do you think growth is percentage based? So that's kind of like we were just talking about. This is going to be a good one for discussion. So, growth percentage limits. But he says like 5 to 7, 40% versus 7 to 9, 28%. If so, could somebody use that percentage more towards girth or length? So let me just start by saying uh like 5 to 7. So I do think in general it's percentage based. But there's two things to look about it. Like number one, going from 5 to 6 inches is proportionately a much bigger increase than going from 7 to 8 inches. Okay. You have proportionally more dick added. And so it's the same inch added, but I mean, in my opinion, it kind of means more when you're smaller. Okay. And so you have to keep that in mind. But I do think that there are limitations for how much that tissue can be stretched in general. And so, like, yes, if you are 9 inches, you're going to be much doing PE, which I mean, if you're 9 inches doing PE, then you should not be around. I mean, me at least. Um, but you're much more likely to go to 12 inches than somebody that's 5 inches. Like, you're just not going to like more than double the size of your PP. And so, could somebody use that percentage more towards length or girth? No. I mean, I think that you're somewhat limited in both. But once again, like if you're 4 inches and you go to 5 inches, that proportionally means a lot more than if you're 5 inches and you go to 6 inches. Okay. Um, and so, but I don't think there's like you can use your percentages here and there. It's not like an attribute bar on like a 2K character, even though I don't play 2K or whatever. But what is the max percentage gain? Much love, Brody. So thank you for the very generous super chat, first and foremost, man. But the max percentage gain, like I don't know, man. I really don't, because honestly, I'm not that good at math. So I can't be like, okay, well, and I think it like proportionally matters depending on your starting size. I think the important thing, in my opinion, has always been to hit the like button for. But I mean, actually, we're 5 away from 100 likes, so if you don't mind, I would appreciate it. But is to like when I started this, it was like, man, if I could gain a quarter of an inch, my life would be different. I would be so gosh darn thrilled. I would be just over the moon. Like I would. I mean, and even to this day, getting a half inch bigger. I mean, a quarter inch bigger. I was like, I am so happy right now. And so it kind of like I get it. Like you guys, I don't know what your starting size is, whatever. But especially with the pervasiveness of the adult film industry, like you guys want these like massive, like you know, foot long hogs, paper towel, not a toilet paper. Um, but the point is like I don't know how reasonable that is. And even so, like let's say I said you can gain 2 inches, but like how many people are actually doing that? How many people are actually committed for years to do that? So um that's a hard question to answer, man. I hope I pontificated enough for you to get a reasonable answer from that. And so, but thank you very much for the super chat, man. So Clarence, another very generous super chat, man. So he says, thought as much. So he was the gentleman that asked about like the role of growth hormone and could it potentially be harmful as far as like fibroblast and collagen stimulation. So I thought as much, haha, as an adult, albeit with hypogonadotropic hypogonadism, okay, on treatment when BPC 157, uh, did I miss a period? Okay, comma. However, would BPC 157 coupled with extending provide more efficacious environment for length work due to angiogenesis? So, like, I don't know. This is a hot take, but like, I know that there's certain opinions out there when it comes to PE as far as like the role of angiogenesis, which I'm not gonna get spicy here, but, like, it would be very upsetting to me when people would say, like, angiogenesis, and it's like, guys, there's like arteriogenesis where you have the conversion of like smaller vessels into bigger vessels, and then there's angiogenesis, which is like de novo or like brand new creation of new vessels to the area. And people would kind of use them interchangeable and not know the difference. And so, and I'm not trying to be like a pompous jerk off, like, oh, I know something you don't know. Oh, look at you, you're technically using the wrong term. But the point is, like, first of all, like if we're talking about I don't want to pontificate too long. I just think that arteriogenesis, angiogenesis, vascular capability, unless you have vascular leak or some sort of like arteriogenic erectile dysfunction where you're not getting enough blood flow in for some reason, it's a non-factor. I just think it's I kind of want to cuss right now, but I'm glad I caught myself. But I just think it's like I think that that is not a sound thing to say, like, "Oh, well, if you get more blood flow in, it's gonna lead to, like, anything." I mean, you're gonna get adequate blood flow, and it's not like I don't know. So the point is that if you're taking BPC 157, in my humble opinion, I mean, who am I, guys? I'm a clown in a mask, okay? Thank you for whoever just hit the like button to get me to 100 likes. I appreciate you. Um But even if it does stimulate angiogenesis, I don't think it's that helpful. However, you also should check out the effect of BPC 157 on fibroblast activity and collagen because if I'm not mistaken, so there's BPC 157 and there's TB 500, which is like the Wolverine stack for healing. If I'm not mistaken, the TB 500 is a better avenue if you're looking to minimize collagen stimulation. Okay. And so you might want to look into that more because you're clearly a very intelligent dude. You might want to look into that rather than BPC 157. Maybe a hot take, controversial take. I don't think BPC 157 has a strong role in PE. I don't. Okay, I just don't. So so 19 expansion 2x says more and more. What's up, man? Glad to see you in here, bro. Nothing, nothing. What's up, man? Ethan says, "When will the Matt Barr video come out?" I think people are waiting for it for sure, bro. I get asked about it, and like I think it's going to be a good video. Heaven forbid, like, could it possibly go viral? Like, maybe. I just once again, like, I can't research Matt Barr when I'm at cosplaying at my hospital system for IT security purposes and like whatnot. And so my only time to do that is like at home, and when I'm at home it's like I'm usually recording, and so I work on my scripts when I can in between patients. But anyways, or then I'm doing a live stream. Um, so yeah, man. But I'm working on it. So Felix, we're not gonna get like Felix. Thank you very much for the super chat. I'm not gonna talk about this much because I've talked about it on other live streams, and like, and I want this to be a place where people don't feel kind of politically charged one way or another, and I mean, you can see my point because I don't understand how somebody getting assassinated is a political thing to say, like murder is wrong. Um, but I think it's horrible. I didn't always agree with Charlie Kirk. I did agree with some of the things he said, but whenever I saw him, and I actually watched his YouTube channel, I can't say I was a subscriber, but I regularly watched his debates on college campuses. He was always respectful. He let people talk. He let people finish their thoughts. I'm Christian, guys, and so like I liked when he brought up the Bible, and I agreed with a lot of these says. And you guys know, me long enough to think that like uh, it shouldn't be controversial to say like what is a woman? Like that's absolute and complete another horseshit. That was another one, guys. And so Caleb says at Felix, we don't talk politics, but so like I agreed with him on a lot of those points. And so, but regardless of whether you agree or disagree, I think it's horrible that people are out there celebrating somebody's death. I don't care who it is, guys. Even when it was like Osama bin Laden or whatever, like I don't think you should celebrate death, and certainly not somebody that was trying to engage in peaceful debate. If you didn't like him, you didn't like his points. I completely respect that, guys. But this is a super chat. Mods, please just like if anybody responds to this one way or another, like I don't want this to be discussion. I'm signing off soon, anyways. But no, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was actually very upset when Charlie Kirk was killed. I was very upset. So, um, So Mac Boob says merch idea: Jake from Adventure Time wearing heat mask, flipping pancakes, and saying "Yummy tummy pancakes." um, I'm not a big enough fan of Adventure Time. I know exactly. Jake's the dog, right? Or is Jake the dog? I don't know. Actually, I don't know whether Jake's the dog or Jake's the boy. But I don't know enough about that. I don't know about that reference that I can actually make sense of that. So yeah. Let's see. So Caleb says, "Everyone, do not mention anything political, or you will be put on the timeout." But it's like, yeah. But so I mean, intimacy nutrition doc says, "Celebrate life and health." Like, yeah, bro, for sure. so, Ben says, "What's from mid from mail hearing?" It says, "What's your best squirrel recipe?" And so he was kind of off put. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a country boy. And so I I have killed and eaten. Oh, Hank, I can't believe you murdered those poor innocent animals. Yeah, some of you might say that, and it's all good, man. But I've killed and eaten raccoon, squirrel. Obviously, we've slaughtered our own pigs, slaughtered our own cows. I just had actually one of my cows. No, actually, one of my brother just had one of his cows processed, and possum, rabbit, and so yeah, and so I was telling a story because I'm not a gun nut, but I like guns. Okay, I have a Glock, and so I'm pretty freaking amazing with it. And so I was telling Ben a story about how I shot a squirrel in the head from the top of a maple tree because I was trying to be like, oh, I'm so cool, I'm really good with my aim, um, and and he was kind of it seemed like he was kind of taken aback that I was like, yeah, so we cleaned him and we ate him. so so yeah, my best squirrel recipe is squirrel is very gamey and very tough in general. And so if you're going to cook it, you want to like ideally something with like a squirrel stew or like a squirrel gravy where it can like soften up the meat and kind of tenderize over time. Um yeah. However, my like rabbit filet mignon. So for those that don't know, like there's a muscle, it's called your psoas muscle. And so in humans, it's like along your back and it kind of attaches to the posterior surface of your leg, the back of your leg. And so that's what filet is. It's the psoas muscle. And so I killed a rabbit with my 22 rifle, and we cleaned it, and I isolated the actual like psoas muscle for the rabbit and cooked it, and that was actually fantastic. I actually just put it on a skewer and just salted it and actually cooked it over open flame. So, anyways, you guys can judge away, judge away. I also very much enjoy chitlins. If you know what chitlins are, more power to you. Hog maw, liver mush, yeah, I eat all that stuff. So, anyways, um, Up, 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 up. So we got another. So Steven Johnson says a possum is just a big ass rat. Oh man, he didn't cuss and I did. So where are we at, guys? I don't know, man. So so Clarence says, right, okay, avoiding both HGH and BPC 157. Yeah, I mean, do your own research, man. This is just my kind of cursory research. I have used BPC 157 and TB 500 when I tore my lat, but it wasn't like I wasn't doing it for PE purposes. It was for recovery purposes. And so I appreciate the response from someone as intelligent as you for now. I mean, make sure you do your own research, man. I appreciate that. I'm a clown in a mask. Who knows what I'm talking about? Maybe I'm just so convincing when it comes to these things that people actually want to listen to me. So um, I'll just stick to heat and extending due to ease of fatigue. Cheers, man. Stay cool. Thank you for the extremely generous super chats tonight, man. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the conversation. Actually, I love questions like this, and so I mean, the other questions are fine too. I just like questions where I have to like really use my brain, for lack of a better word. So growth percentages. Oh man, we shot. Boy, my buddy, he owns his own practice and does very well. And he had an M4 and he had a 9mm carbine with a suppressor. And so we just shot like not 1,000. We probably shot like 500 rounds just out in the country this weekend. Just like we just said, oh, we had set up some cans kind of on trees, and we had a target. Anyways, it was fun. It was very cathartic, man. So So, yeah. Oh, so, but what I did want to mention is that you'll stick to heat and extending. So, if you're going to use heat, I would only recommend you use heat for like the first one third of your session extending. That way, that helps to loosen up the tissue, loosen up the collagen. But then once you extend, it can actually more, hypothetically, I think, put you in more like as the collagen relaxes, but it's still in an extended state, potentially make you more prone to growth. So, yeah. So, guys, that is I think that's gonna do it, man. Steven Johnson says, "No more chitlins over here, bro." Soft, man. You guys are soft. Um Wait, does Red Maroon? Aha, Red Maroon says, "Oh, I miss chitlins. My dad cooks the best." That's only because you haven't had mine yet, bro. I cook and clean my own chitlins, man. I don't do the black pudding like the haggis. Um What is it? Is it just called black pudding? There's some, like, pudding from, like, Europe that, I just have no interest in. Like, I eat pig ass. That's another one. But, like, I'm like, "Oh, like, blood used to cook with? Like, no, count me out. Give me those pig intestines." Oh my gosh. So Vitality says, ordered sleeves recently and the customer service was good as always. I'm assuming you're talking about peak male physique, man. So thank you, man. So yeah, appreciate you guys supporting Peak Male Physique .com, Leviathan Supplements.com. Yeah, blood pudding is from Scotland. Yeah, bro. I have no interest in that, man. Uh I don't know. So 19 expansion says, "Oh damn, your country for real. I thought you was a city boy." I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I talk, and maybe that I have some intelligence, but no, I'm a country boy, like overalls, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, I mean, like we just go off in the woods and just like ride through the woods all day. So, anyways, yeah, killing, eating, our own food. I don't really like to hunt though. I don't have the time for hunting. So, anyways, but yeah, guys, I am. Let me make sure I didn't miss. So we got Clarence's one. Let me make sure I didn't. Yeah. So, anyways, man. But yeah, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I stayed over a little bit longer, but thank you guys for rocking with me. I know it's been a little bit of a break, but to have still like I think we had like 120 people in here live at one point. Yeah, it means a lot. So thank you. I can't thank you guys enough, and I mean that extremely sincerely. And I hope like you guys that yeah, stuff can go wrong sometimes, but you're just appreciative of the life you had, and you try to make the best out of it. Check out the course if you haven't already, guys. Once again, you get a lifetime access or for as long as the course is active, and any kind of updates. I just updated with Bathmate. Check it out. Supplements, Leviathan, equipment, peakmalephysique.com. And maybe going live with like a video about that GQ article tomorrow. So stay tuned. And actually, I got the same GQ guy hit me up for a part 2 interview talking about like ejaculation. So anyways, man, but so Ben says, "Good night, my caramel lips, sweet." You're crazy, man. All right, guys. I love you guys sincerely. I appreciate you guys. Peace and love.